Everybody, welcome to Your Time to Thrive with health and wellness coach Jason Stevenson.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Jay.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Ben. What's going on?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you today?
Not much. Good. I'm good. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about fasting as our primary topic.
Okay.
And then the continuing process of health and fitness and wellness with quality habits and repeatable, maintainable lifestyle goals, right?
Absolutely. All right. So let's see. Dana says hi right off the bat. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Dana.
All right. So we're talking about fasting. Obviously, I feel like there has been debate on this. And there's sort of two schools of thought. The first one being, eat early and often to sort of keep your metabolism going, to start your metabolism and keep your metabolism going throughout the day. So, the whole 6 small meals throughout the day, that type of a strategy. And now, intermittent fasting is very popular, and time windows, 16-8 time windows, essentially that sort of thing, where maybe you don't have breakfast and you don't eat until noon, and then you eat until 8, that type of a thing, and then you shut it off. So that so what are the benefits of both? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you tell your clients to do? What are your thoughts on both of these options?
All right. So first and foremost, before we even get into some of that stuff, I want to have a little quick disclaimer here. Just like anything else, whenever you're embarking on a new plan, whether it's fitness or it's food related, talk to your doctor first. I'm not a doctor, so I'm always going to make sure that my people and my friends are actually utilizing all of the resources that they have available to them, and just make sure that your health professional is on board with it as well. Because let's be frank, what we're talking about here is improving our quality of life, but we're also messing with our health, right? And your doctor should be on board with that. And we want to make sure that we're safe. That safety is the number one priority, whether it's in the gym or it's at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first disclaimer piece to this. The second is, this is all subjective. I don't recommend any one particular path to anybody or to any group, whether it's a client base or it's a group class or whatever, because for me, everything is subjective. My people are all very unique and individual subjectively for who they are, from where they've come from, what they're looking to achieve, and who they really are as a person. So for me, I've never subscribed to one particular solution. It's not like the people that come train with me or spend time with me or get coached by me have to follow my program. My program is a malleable process. It is a ongoing, we're going to deal with today and apply it to your long terms and apply it to your short terms. And that's kind of why you and I are talking about this now, because we started talking about vegan and vegetarian and, experimenting with some of that nutrition, because conversations about nutrition should be an ongoing process with your coach, your trainer, because we are literally what we eat. So all that being said, I will coach people in both directions. The first step for me is always quality over quantity. So what are we eating? What is the quality of that? What is the nutrient base? And are you getting your calorie needs, period? I don't normally recommend fasting for people as just a start to the nutrition plan. Usually, like we talked about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the first step is to track. So the first step in your nutrition plan is to track your food and establish a baseline for where you actually are. Because for a lot of people, the small step of starting to spread out some of those portions and eating on a regular basis, a couple of hours and then eat, and then a couple of hours and eat, works really good, because it shortens their portions. Because if you've just eaten 2 hours ago, you're not going to eat as much as a lot of people will after having gone several hours. So that spread out your calories thing is a great process for people that are having trouble with their portion control, because you just can't eat as much. Plus, it spreads out some nutrients and gives you the opportunity to feed your metabolism on an ongoing basis in a way that keeps your metabolism going. Our metabolism is certainly a a system that works without our conscious awareness, but we can certainly mess with it, which is kind of what we're talking about here. It depends on what we want to achieve and what we're trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
If somebody's not trying to change their body in any real way, but they're just trying to achieve quality of life, health, and fitness, then they should evaluate and see where they are and see what they're putting in their body on a regular basis first. And then when we've eliminated the sugared and floured and bleached and processed and fast food and sodas, when we take away all the crap and all the food that we've been told is food, because, potato chips that taste like lobster bisque are not food. The what's the nacho flavored tortilla crisps that are like the taco shells from Taco Bell? You can get Cool Ranch
The Doritos flavored.
Yeah, that's not food. That fills you. You walk through the supermarket, you can find hundreds of products that if you actually went through the ingredient label, it'd be hard to find something that's actually a real food in there. And that's that we're in the Frankenfood era. It's a scary thing, and it's a mind-boggling thing that you can walk through a supermarket and have to actually look for real food. So first step is always to evaluate what am I actually eating? Am I eating real food? Am I eating enough for my caloric needs? Am I eating enough for my goals? If my goal is to gain lean muscle mass, then I need to eat more calories than my daily needs are. If I'm looking to lose weight, then I need to eat less than my daily caloric needs. So what is that baseline? So establish that first, and then we're going to pick a path. The fasting has become a real popular method because most people are looking for a quick fix. They're looking for that magic pill. They're looking for the new best, latest, and greatest. This is the way to do it. And if you look back through our history of nutrition, especially in our country, because we're kind of stuck on this, hey, what's the next greatest fad? There aren't many really good ones that have stayed with us. That you talk about the diet pill fad, or like the grapefruit diet, or there's all kinds of nutritional plans that have come across the landscape here, but most of them haven't really stuck because they're all a piece of the puzzle that aren't real long-term solutions. Anybody can eat grapefruit a couple times a week for the 30 days, or you can take diet pills and eat whatever the hell you want, and that might work for a period of time too. Or you can cut out carbs. Like that's one of my favorites. I'm going to cut out pastas and breads. Well, okay, that's not a bad concept, but your body needs carbohydrates to function, right? That's one of the main energy sources, and it's one of our main nutrient sources. So you need carbohydrates, but are you cutting out really, really crappy bread? Like no specific name brands, but soft and fluffy and pale in color. That kind of bread is terrible for you. But whole grains made from whole wheat berries that somebody handmade, and sprouted grains, things that are made from products that came really close to the way that they were actually formed. Those are really good grains. You can eat those. You should have a multitude of wild grains in your system. And if somebody bakes bread out of wild grains, then eat that bread. But trying to eliminate something from your plan is probably not the best plan. So all that being said, the question is, what are we?
Megan says, I love pasta and bread too much to cut it out.
And that's why I'm laughing, because I know what Megan has been eating recently for her pastas, and she has found a great source of supplemental pastas that are the chickpea pasta and the red lentil pastas and the black bean pastas, which, albeit have a lot of processing,
right,
are still good supplementations.
Megan, where are you getting this black bean pasta? Because I got some black bean penne, I think, from Trader Joe's a couple years ago that turned to mush immediately in the water, and it was horrible. The chickpea pasta is great, though. The chickpea pasta has been great, but the black bean pasta was just terrible. And I've never tried the red lentil, so I would love to. Megan, please type away.
I can also tell you that it is a cooking technique with all of those. You have to shock it. You have to cook it for exactly how long it tells you to, and then you got to throw it in cold water. Yep. See, she just said the same thing.
All right.
Because it makes a big difference. If those pastas keep cooking, they don't have the same starch content of our traditional pastas. And those you can just kind of throw in the colander and they'll sit out for a little while and we're still good. But those supplemental pasta brands do not have much wiggle on their cooking times.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we fast or do we do multiple meals? The answer is subjective. My suggestion is always to try something and see how it goes. We have to listen to our bodies. Like, I know for me, fasting works really, really well. And I do an intermittent fast, which is specifically picking a clock based on when I finished eating dinner, like when my last meal was, whether it was a handful of dried nuts or it was actually dinner. And then I wind the clock and I go at least 14 hours after that is my first meal. Now, the traditional with the intermittent is 14 or 16. Your goal is to get to the 16 hours, but in all aspects, like we talk about, it's always those small steps. My suggestion to people is to look at their schedule and see when they're actually breaking their fast already. You know, if you finish eating dinner 7:30, then your 12-hour window is 7:30 in the morning. Are you eating breakfast before that or after that? And evaluate your time frame on that, and then bump an hour. Just bump 1 hour on top of that and try that for a week. And then bump one more hour and try that for a week. Because you can drink water, you can drink black coffee, you can drink unsweetened and unwhitened tea, but you want to keep those calories below 50 calories before your window starts. Now, the cool part is it's not specific to dinner time. If you find that you're a second shift or third shift, or you just work all the way through lunch, well, your break window, like your time of fasting, could be any time during the day, and it can slide. So say I finished a late dinner tonight, you know, I don't get home till 9:30 and I throw a shake down because I didn't eat enough protein for dinner. So my last meal of the day is at 10 o'clock at night. Well, my window just starts 16 hours after that. You know, it doesn't have to be a specific 10 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning thing. Like, it's always got some wiggle. And the nice thing that a lot of people like about the fasting is it's not a hard line. Say you get up on the weekend, you go out to breakfast. Well, go out to breakfast and have some breakfast, you know, or somebody makes you breakfast in bed. You don't just push it away and say, I'm fasting. You know, you can wiggle it. It could just be a day that you don't fast.
Yeah. That's the that is true. The intermittent fasting doesn't have to be every day. It could be, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, every day but one day. So sometimes when people fast, what they're doing. So I believe there's two schools of thought, right? Number one is that that fasting after 12 hours or after 14 hours or something
14.
kicks your body into ketosis. Is that correct? Or some version of that where it starts burning fat instead of calories, something along those lines, right? There's a reason why 14 hours is and every hour after 14 hours is the beneficial one until obviously you get to, so which is why like people suggest the 16 hours as the minimum. So I know Joe Rogan does 14, or at least he did years ago. Why fast is my first question, but then my second more important question is fast then binge is the issue, right? Because then, say you're waiting until 2 o'clock every day to eat, and then by 2 o'clock you're friggin' starving. So you're gonna, eat a bunch of things that aren't good for you, or, sandwiches with a lot of bread and or, several helpings of something because you're gonna have a big meal and then during that time window you overeat.
Yeah. So
right.
yeah, that's the challenge. And here's the piece that's pretty cool about all this. This is an evolutionary process. You know, our scientific world is constantly learning the realities of our world, which is our internal systems, and they're also constantly learning better and best ways to be healthier, So what we know right now is that your body stores an awful lot. And we know it stores some fat, but it also stores all kinds of nutrients and enzymes and calories and proteins because your body needs them on a regular basis. So you certainly get rid of what you don't need, but we often don't tap into some of those reserves. And we also don't allow our body to naturally go through its cleaning out process is a better way to say it. And it's not just your normal, like your digestive system. I eat something and later on something happens. It's that you're literally full of backup. You know, most people carry around 10 to 15 pounds of sludge in their intestines and their digestive tracts. That's just there because we're constantly filling our bodies with food, and your digestive system works and your body absorbs the nutrients and it utilizes what it can from what you've given it. And then it doesn't really go into that backstock, or it doesn't have time to clean out your entire system. So some of the science, going simply about it, is the longer that you fast, and if you fast occasionally, and it could literally be once a week, but if you do it for once a week, you want to do it for at least 16 hours. There's some really good benefits from a 24-hour fast, like once a week. You want to watch your blood sugar, obviously, and you want to drink lots of water. But being able to allow your body to release the enzymes that kind of kick into high gear, like in your liver, after you've not eaten for a little while, is a good thing. Allowing your digestive tract to kind of clean out a little bit is a good thing. We're kind of taught, you know, especially post-depression, like when there's food, eat. If you're hungry and your belly growls, go eat. You know, that whole like eat a dinner or eat breakfast, have a snack, eat lunch, have a snack, you know, that works because it's trying to control portions, but that may not be the best, as we've learned from recent science, for your body. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. We're looking for an optimal functioning system. And that means occasionally draining the tank. You know, my example is that I have a generator that we have hooked up to the house that we use occasionally. We know when the power goes out, you need a generator. But I've been told by people that know a lot more than me about motors that I should occasionally let that run down to pretty far finished, and not obviously bottom out the tank, but let it drain out and then put in brand new gas. Because if you're not always doing that and you always have old gas in the generator, then eventually all that sludge builds up and it's really bad for your generator. Just like your car, we go get an oil change. They don't just dump in brand new oil and say, hey, good, you're good, get out of here. They literally clean out the entire oil tank and let it drain completely really, really well. And then they flush it with a little fresh, and then they cap it and then fill it with brand new oil. This way, your body doesn't have the buildup of all those hard minerals and all those nutrients and all those enzymes and all the things that actually build up in your system that aren't necessarily good because they're supposed to be used. And if they don't get used, then calcium builds up and then we have problems. I mean, all kinds of problems with your system as far as arteries are concerned in your digestive tract. So the idea is rinse and flush, you know, let's clean out the system a little bit and provide your body the opportunity to do what it's best at, which is functioning. You know, in a default world, your system's default is success. The default to nature is success. You know, if you leave a house in the middle of the woods, abandoned for several years, and you go back, there's stuff growing all over it. There's animals living in it. The default of nature is success. It's not like the house got abandoned and everybody left. So your body wants to function. We just have to give it the opportunity to sometimes. Does that make sense? Does that answer some of those questions in a lengthy,
it does,
strong way?
It does. And then the what about the situation where when you do try fasting and then you overeat afterwards?
So there's the calorie need piece, right? What I find is that's a very common thing. I know I just have that problem because I just got home and I'm starving. So my next meal is going to be the largest meal of my day, but I'm also careful about knowing where my calories are for the day and knowing what I need for the rest of the day. So just fasting doesn't give you carte blanche. You know, there's some other programs out there that do like time restricted eating, which is another fad at this point. And they have no restrictions to what you eat and how much you can eat at one time, but you only eat for 4 to 6 hours a day. And you'll find those people trying to get the calorie needs at Burger King, because if you try to eat for 4 hours and you get a minimum 2,000 calories, that's a lot of crap you need to eat. You're not going to eat broccoli and get 2,000 calories in 4 hours.
Yeah.
So that is the caution, right? Remember, everything that we do builds, right? So I cleaned out all the crap. Like I don't eat fast food and I don't eat sugared, floured, processed, bleached crap in my system. Then if I'm doing a nutrition plan that changes my timing, I don't get rid of those plan ideas. I don't get rid of those other rules. Those are other guidelines and rules essentially that you should still keep. You know, that doesn't mean that I should just drink 4 milkshakes and be good. it means that I still need to be conscious of my caloric needs and the quality of those calories. Where are they coming from?
Absolutely. Speaking of caloric needs, so let's do this. Let's have you give me a little info on what. Well, actually, hold on. We have a great question from Megan. Jason, do you believe that fasting can lead to eating disorders? Just a
Yes.
post that I've read on social before.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is one of the reasons that I always say enlist help. I don't think anybody should embark on any plan like this without talking to other people about it and involving other people with it, because it certainly runs that pitfall. I think that there isn't one particular thing that is a trigger for problems like that. If you are addicted to drinking, then you had addiction in you. It wasn't the alcohol that created that. So the same concern. So if there's social or psychological or environmental impacts that are creating a disorder, then those are the things that you need to get help with, and not look to food as the solution for it or to the fix for it. So if somebody ends up having an eating disorder because they were fasting, then I would hypothesize, without speaking to that individual, that there were major problems going on underlying before they started the fasting. The fasting just gave them an opportunity to do so. So
Yeah.
my concern would be the same like Ben just brought up. If I don't eat for 16 hours and then I just binge and eat piles of food for 8 hours, this is not a successful healthcare plan. This is not a successful, repeatable, maintainable wellness plan to a quality of life that is going to be beneficial to you. So if anybody finds themselves feeling in that inclination or finding themselves falling down that path, then reach out and ask for help, because there's help out there and there are people there that around you that can certainly help with that and certainly guide you in a better place. That's why we need accountability.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So let's talk about caloric intake for a minute then, because that's the biggest part of the debate, right? I would assume is making sure, like, that's the one of the main reasons for wanting to have the fasting is to limit the caloric intake. So I and go back to your very first point today, which was track your food. So let's talk about food tracking for a minute and calories in, calories out, that sort of a thing. I highly suggest everybody get MyFitnessPal if they need to track their
Yep.
calories. It's great. It's free. Um, you can share it with people like your trainer if you need to. Anyway, so I have a massive calorie goal for the day, even for losing weight, right? Because if you're listening to this and not watching it, I'm a large guy. So I'm at like 3,300 calories to lose like 2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
That's fine. So that's a massive amount of calories to be able to eat in a day. And when I exercise, like, so for MyFitnessPal, every time you exercise and you log in your exercise, it gives you additional calories that you can eat that day, right? So I
Yep.
haven't done anything today, and it's already given me, 100 more than that. So my question is, like, how do I get that? What level of that is actually healthy for you or not healthy for you? You know what I mean? Like, if it says right now that I like that 3,300 calories is an estimated thing for me to eat, what happens if I only eat 2,000 calories in a day? Like, is that better? Because then I'm burning, if I eat 2,000 calories and I burn 800 calories in a day, but it's saying that I'm supposed to consume 3,000, like,
Right.
what is that doing to my body? Is my body going into starvation mode because it's not getting enough so that I'm not losing the weight? Like, what do I have to, how the hell do I wrap my brain around this? Is my question. Please give me the information on this. And then what I will do is, if you guys want to follow me, you do not have to. But if you want to follow me, this is what I will do. I will post for the next week. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I will post the screenshot at the end of the day for the calories in, calories out at the end of the day, every single day until next Wednesday, so that we can track this live. And then I'll
I
pull
like it.
them up. I'll pull them up as screenshots so we can discuss it next week. But So basically my point is, like, how do you manage that when it's 3,000, like, or say it was 2,000, say your goal for the day is 2,200 calories, and if you're only eating 15, like, you would think, hey, that's good, I'm not eating as many calories, I'm going to lose weight. That's not always the case. What the hell do we do here?
So, first and foremost, it's always subjective, right? So my question is always track, and then how do you feel, right? So there are definitely specific scientific numbers to this. It's calories in, calories out. You got to hit that fill line. If you don't make enough money to pay your bills, you lose things. So in your system, if you don't make enough money and you don't put enough calories in to fulfill your caloric needs, then your body has to figure out something. So yes, can you put yourself at a high caloric deficit and potentially lose weight? Yeah, maybe. But the process is, how does your body respond to that caloric deficit? Some people starve themselves and lose all their body fat. Agreed. But you need them. So you still need those calories. You still need to function. The question is really, do you function on a lower calorie need? And how does your body respond? Are you looking to lose weight? Well, then, yeah, you need to get your calories in. Because then your body actually understands that it's getting enough calories that it can then stop saving calories and stop conserving them and putting them aside for later use when it thinks that you suck at finding food. So yeah, it is hard. It's definitely a challenge to get enough calories on a daily basis, but the science is there as far as calories in, calories out. So the question is, what are you getting to fulfill those nutrient needs? We talked last week about more nutrient dense as opposed to volume foods, lower water weight foods, vegetables that have a higher fiber count to them, that have a higher caloric count to them than vegetables that don't, proteins that have a higher fiber count. Depends on your food sourcing, where you're going, or if you're getting vegetarian or you're going omnivore. There's these different designs of systems of nutrition plans that you can choose from, but they have to fulfill your caloric needs, period. So whether it's a fast or it's a spread the meal plan, it's still calories in, calories out. So yes, starvation mode is technically your body figuring out that you suck at finding food, and it's saving more calories for you, which is how people retain water when they don't drink enough water. If you don't drink enough water, then your body holds on to all the water you give it. Those of us that drink a ton of water know what that's like, because you have multiple trips to the bathroom on a regular basis. Your body's flushing properly. That's the whole point. So yeah, the difference is that you're going to have to pay attention to how you feel. We're going to jump up on the scale and we're going to check and we're going to see, am I losing weight? Do I feel like I have energy? The lethargy and the lack of motivation and the sleeplessness, there's all kinds of headaches. I mean, you start not eating enough, your body's going to tell you. But remember, that's the same step from the beginning. If you eat crap, like if you don't eat fast food right now and you go eat fast food, you're going to feel it. I promise. There's nothing natural about fast food. And because it's so unnatural and because there's so many preservatives and chemicals in there, your body's immediately going to say, screw you, that's disgusting, get this out. But if you eat it on a regular basis, your body kind of gets used to it. And it's like, all right, this is kind of par for the course. I'll get what nutrients I can from it. And then it's going to get rid of the rest. So the same thing for the calorie needs. You have to get what your body needs and then pay attention to it. Is it telling me I'm eating enough? Or is it telling me, no, you need a little bit more? Like, I can literally tell when I don't drink enough water because I get a little headache. Like, as soon as I start to get a little headache, I'm like, whoops, let me track. And I look back, I'm like, wow, yeah, it has been not enough water today. And that's my first barometer. I know that. I have low blood sugar. So if I get a little cranky, like if my mood starts to change a little bit and it's got nothing to do with my environment, I know that my blood sugar is starting to drop a little bit and I know I need food. And if I track it back, I'll look back and go, yeah, that's right. I didn't have that snack that I expected to have because I didn't take that break I expected to take. And yeah, I didn't have enough food. So time to get some nuts in.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I really like about the intermittent fasting, because it actually regulates your blood sugar. I've been hypoglycemic since I was in elementary school. I passed out at a choir rehearsal, and they figured out, yeah, he needs to eat. So since then, I've been really conscious of it. And I used to be one of those guys. It was every 2 hours I had to eat, and if I didn't, then I'd get cranky, or I get headachy, or I could feel lightheaded or dizzy. So I was just eating regularly every 2 hours. And when I first started this, I was worried about it. I'm going to go how long in the morning without eating? Because I used to tell everybody, start your day with a good breakfast. And I was waiting 5-6 hours to eat something. And I thought my blood sugar is going to crash like a bastard. And it didn't. It didn't. Because this actually helps your body's insulin levels regulate your blood sugar, because it's not constantly responding to sugar in your system that it has to deal with. It can just regulate your body the way it's supposed to. It's like the detox things. Buy these fancy detox pills or take this detox drink. That's what your liver and kidneys are for, right? Your body's supposed to be able to detox itself. If you literally just give your body a 16-hour fast, it'll detox for you. That's what it does. That's the amazing thing about the human body over a couple thousand years of evolution. It actually works the way it's supposed to.
So just to recap today, we talked about fasting. We talked about quality over quantity of your food. Am I eating real food? Am I eating enough food? Best way to do this is to track your food. And before you start anything like this, consult someone, talk to your doctor about stuff like that. Jason is not a doctor, although he plays one on the internet. And that's it. And I'm gonna track my food and so I've been doing this is where you get to make a call for a week. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna track my food for the week. I'm gonna take a snapshot at the end of every day for the calorie count. I'm gonna post it, and then we're gonna talk about it next week. Here's my question for you: intermittent fasting or small meals throughout the day for the next week? Your choice.
Okay, so small meals.
You know me enough. Go ahead.
Small meals.
Yep.
But I want you to find a cutoff window that is a hard line at the end of the night. So pick, like, no snacking after dinner, but you got to get your calories in, because I think what we figured out last week is that it's really, really hard for you to get your calories in during that window, given what you're trying to get in. So I think our first goal, like I said, is always get those calorie needs. So let's hit the goal first. Don't worry about when during the day you eat. Just get a hard line. I don't eat after 9. I don't eat after 8, or I just don't eat after dinner. It doesn't have to be a specific time, but just mentally commit to yourself. I'm not going to snack after dinner.
Okay, great.
Doable.
Thank you very much. Where can people find you? Where can people find you?
They can find me on thrivetrainingteam.com. That's where I am, and I'm always reachable. If you have any questions about what we talked about or anything health and fitness related, reach out. That's what I'm here for. Have a great day, everybody.